Welcome and thank you everyone for joining us for another Twitter Space. It is June 30th, 2022, and this is episode 3 of the ledgerscale Internet of Value Open Forum. Ledgerscale was founded with 2 goals in mind. 1, we want to provide educational services to not only our community, but to scale up the number of brains that understand how distributed ledger technology works. And 2, we intend to one day run hardware to provide infrastructural support to the distributed ledger technology networks that we believe are ESG friendly and running a form of decentralized consensus. We host these spaces Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, starting at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, and we typically keep them for around 2 hours. And on Wednesdays, we host a 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time space on a focused topic. If you could give us a follow on Twitter and a subscribe on YouTube, because we stream these spaces from Twitter to YouTube daily. And just thank you everyone in advance who watches their content and subscribes.
Yep, so we're basically here to engage the community. So if anybody has a question, just please raise your hand. And if you're curious about something, I'm sure somebody else is probably also curious about the same thing. So, please ask. It is an open forum. And just be cordial if you do come up to speak, and welcome to the space.
I'm inviting everybody up. Feel free to come up and speak. If you don't, you can just deny the request.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody saw, but did you see that the I don't know what exact all countries are involved, but they're actually trying to stand up a competitive network, effectively a competitor to SWIFT, like for global monetary transaction processing. It's kind of big.
Sorry, can you say that again?
Well, I don't know what all countries are involved. I know at least Russia, and apparently it's already live in Turkey, according to somebody. I mean, I haven't fact-checked this or anything. But, yeah, they're trying to stand up a competitive global monetary network, infrastructure, whatever you want to call it, that doesn't go through the dollar. So that's kind of a, what go around Visa, MasterCard, SWIFT, the dollar. I mean, that's a big deal.
Yeah, just another blow to the, I guess they called it the Western system.
Well, I mean, it's really the dollar system.
Yeah.
You even have, there's a whole, I don't know if you know about like the euro dollar market, but there's a whole dollar market in Europe because the dollar is so much like the lowest common denominator. I mean, it is the current bridge currency, if you want to use like a crypto term.
Hey, Dev. Hey, Karma. How are you guys?
Yeah, good, man. How you doing?
What's up, Amway Crypto?
First of all, can you hear me good?
Yeah, I hear you well.
So I have a little bit of a thought process that came to my mind. A question came to my mind while I was listening to Circle's space about the Euro launch, and I wondered, once that becomes official and once exchanges start supporting it, You think there's going to be a transition from USDT to Euro?
I think it'll just be another option. Um, and it'll basically, their step is they have to get legal entities that can sign up to the service that Circle provides, right? And then they'll be able to issue them, Euro stablecoins. But I don't think by any means it means that the USDC stablecoin is going to be not as favorable, I would say, or have the ability to use just as easy.
Yeah, I
So
think
maybe
that
I stated it wrong. Do you think there's gonna be a drop in the amount of liquidation into USDT? Because what I think of now is all these people in Europe, they are trading coins, but they're transitioning everything to either USDC, USDT, whatever stable coins they're using. And then once they transfer it, they have to transfer it to their bank, and they're gonna hit with maybe two exchange rates because they're gonna get hit with the bank's service fee, and then they're going to get hit with an exchange rate because they have to exchange from USDT to now a euro. Now, with the introduction of the euro coin, wouldn't it be cheaper to just transfer it from USDT to the euro, right? If that's even possible, and then just liquidate it that way?
well, if your balance sheet is denominated in say dollars or euros, let's go with euros in this case, then the best thing to do is keep most of your assets denominated in euros. Otherwise, unless you're trying to seek out, FX risk, which maybe you are, right? I mean, you buy Bitcoin, you're basically seeking out FX risk, or really any crypto. And So I think it's a good thing. I just think it's another product. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't have a yen and a yuan and a peso version as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to just expand into all these different currencies. That makes sense. The other thing that kind of does, well, stable coins on the whole, is kind of kind of pushes the regulators, man, right? Especially the central banks, because all of a sudden you got, like, the Feds used to be in the one that prints dollars. Okay, granted, the commercial banks print most dollars that are circulate, like for buying power purposes. But ultimately, those are all backed up through reserves, which are on the central bank balance sheet. All of a sudden, there's dollars being printed that are not backed up by the central bank balance sheet with these stable coins. So I think that the stable coins, you're going to see regulation there probably first, because they're like, oh, what's going on here, right? Like,
And so imagine this NY crypto, right? You have all this value in the blockchain, this digital asset space, right? The speculative value. And everyone pulls out of all of these digital assets and they go into USDT, right? And then there's no USDT, right? Because there's actually no dollars that are actually backing it. What happens then? I mean, all the value is essentially null. And so that is a fear. And I don't think that's, I think that's like a black swan thing that we don't want to happen. So that's why I think that the migration away from USDT to USDC and Circle is much better for the space. Because if regulation comes in time, I mean, USDT is just there. There's nothing they're going to do. They're not, if they don't have the value there, if the dollars aren't there, they're it's going to be a bad time.
well, in some sense, you can almost look at this like, it's just like, dude, get audited. Like, that's a badge of honor. That's not like I mean, it's a headache, sure, but get audited publicly.
So,
Like,
so I have one more train of thought that I guess the first part of the questions was I just wanted to make sure the second question made sense. So if I'm in London, born and raised, I've been trading crypto ever since it existed on exchanges, and my stable coin that I use is USDC. Now with the introduction of the euro and I'm in Europe, would it be beneficial for me as a retail trader to swap over from USDC to Euro and then transfer it to my bank so that I can avoid those exchange fees? Would that be wise? Like, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about all those people in Europe that have been trading throughout the years and they have all this profit in USDC or USDT. You know, they're waiting to buy a dip or whatever, and now you have their native currency introduced into the blockchain. So now you're like, oh shit, I'm sorry, I don't need USDT anymore or USDC. I can just transfer
Yeah.
it to the euro. With that happening, like, whether it be suddenly or over time, would you see like the USDT start to depeg? Would it start to mess with any kind
No,
of stable coins that aren't really backed by solid assets?
I mean, I'm not like a USDC expert, but I don't think so. Like, just kind of from a scratch and sniff point of view, no. And yes, the European trader who has maybe lives their life denominated in euros, but lives their crypto world denominated in dollars, they could avoid some risk or reduce their risk by living their crypto life denominated in euros, like their real life. Which is kind of mostly that's your point. It's a good point. Um, so I think it's a good thing. If you want to speculate on dollar euro exchange rates, I mean, you can. But if you're actually trying to participate in the crypto markets and you live in your life in euros, then your sort of home base currency should be euros. I mean, it's kind of I hadn't really thought about it this way before, but it's kind of screwed up if and I can see this being realistic, but if people are getting forced to have their sort of crypto based currency, like, how the Arrington Capital Group, like, their base currency is XRP, right? So everything they do is to get more XRP, right? If you're in Europe, everything you do should be to get more euros. If, like, I live my life in dollars, so everything I do is to get more dollars, but you got to, like, stick to your base currency.
Hello, guys. Hi, Karma. Hi, Dev.
Hey, Focus. Go ahead, man. I was in
Yeah,
a earlier, by the way, with you.
I've heard interesting theory about USDC and Tether, actually, and I want to find out what you think about it. Basically, what we can see is the raising volume on USDC and decreasing on Tether, right? So yeah, the theory actually is that the hedge funds behind the USDC, they want to actually slowly move the capital from Tether to the USDC, and then later on in a year collapse the Tether, right? And what do you guys think about it? I think there was
Yeah,
like a future contracts USDC to USDT launched on somewhere. I don't know where, but what's the point of that? Literally like a play against the one on another one, isn't it?
yeah. So I think that was misinformation that has been started from the people from Bifinex, just so when they rug and they disappear and they try and run away, that they can blame somebody. But I think that's what it seems like to me personally. Go ahead, Wolf. Thank you for coming up.
Yes, hello everyone, and thanks for bringing me up. I'm just wondering, could I have a question about payments channels, even if that was yesterday?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering, would the payments channels be advanced enough for, per se, eBay or Amazon to build all their services upon, or would they go to a more advanced solution?
No, payment channels, it's just a protocol. So it enables two different ledgers to connect. So think of like Amazon. How many freaking vendors do they have? Holy Toledo. And they have not only vendors, but they have people they have to pay, right? Like the power sellers and stuff. Those people where they have a recurring relationship with, yes, payment channels could make sense. They're infinitely scalable, as fast as Amazon can communicate, and as I guess the limitation would probably be on some of the smaller players. But for inbound payments, I don't know. It's um, it's like you're still the consumers. You know, your retail consumers are still Visa, Mastercard networks. Maybe an ACH payment here and there.
Okay, so when everything is full up and running, what solution do you think eBay would use, for example?
Well, it depends. Like, I mean, I would think the same. It would be the same story as Amazon. You know, for your vendors, like the people that eBay's paying on a regular basis, um, payment channels would work. For people that they're paying, like the sellers, the power sellers, again, payment channels would work. It's the inbound side that I'm not so sure about.
And
Just
so
because of, and that's not necessarily from the technology point of view, and just from a realistically, most people, like consumer retail folks, are Visa. I mean, they're using a credit card.
and I think that's where like the USDC would really come in handy, because instead of Walmart having to worry about the payment channels, right? They could use like a USDC where the circle takes care of the payment channels. So really, all they have to worry about is just doing what they were doing beforehand, but more connectivity.
All right. Thanks so much, at least, for clearing that up.
Give me just a second. I'm double checking something from yesterday's conversation.
It's fun. And if anybody wants to come up, please feel free to hit the request if you'd like to come up and speak. And if you could retweet the space, the little plus sign at the bottom right, just so we could get some more awareness from some more people in here for a great conversation.
Yeah, guys. Have you heard about that Maja Loop recent news? Because that came out some presentation where actually they stated on that presentation the XRP use, where they always deny it, and for all these years they were saying it's just interledger, no digital asset. But actually they had a presentation that was like on that presentation as a source XRP ledger for transactions. Have you heard of it? Or?
Yeah, it was. I think I remember seeing like the infographic for it from the presentation, but it was more so. I think they just gave it as like a settlement layer example, and I think they used XRP/XLM, and they just used it as a means of settlement, because Moja Loop, right, which is using the Interledger protocol, they would be connecting, right, parties of trades or whatever transactions, and right, there's no settlement with that though. There's no finality of value, um, so that's where you could potentially use one of these distributed ledgers.
Yeah, exactly. They can use whatever is suitable, isn't it? On that presentation, I think there was a link to Central Bank of India and the project working with them to build application for them, and that's actually they refer it to the private XRP ledger too on it. So quite interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there for sure. About all the
So, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, sorry.
So hang on, I'm about to share this at the top. I think what happens. So the question that was unanswered yesterday, or when we were talking about payment channels, was how can the person receiving the funds, the receipts, okay? Let's say I send you a bunch of receipts, and then I'm like, hey, screw this guy. I'm just going to close the payment channel and get the money back. I think what happens is let me share this, and there's people that are more technical in here, and I don't know why it's not letting me share it to the group. But basically, I think if I initiate a closed payment channel transaction, it's going to automatically trigger a cache the receipts. If I'm reading this right. I don't know that if you've worked with payment channels very much. Why can't I share this? Hang on. Oh. Okay. You should see that. You should see that up top. It's just a diagram. Like a flow chart type diagram. No, I should have put the source. Hang on. I'll do that. If anybody else has another question. Sorry, I just wanted to circle back from yesterday. There's the link. What's up? Who was that?
What's going on?
We're just
Oh, hold on.
we were just talking about some payment channel stuff yesterday. We did that, and then there was a question that I know about how closing payment channels occurs, and like how does the logic flow ensure that the person, like if I sent you a bunch of receipts, that I don't like close the payment channel and then like you don't get a chance to cash the receipts in. So basically I stole from you. So I was trying to circle back on that. And someone else had a question about like we got back on payment channels, which is cool. Because he was saying like, is this scalable up to like an Amazon level? And yeah, it is. It's just a protocol. It's not a network. Networks have scaling problems. Protocols are just protocols.
Welcome up, BLK. I know you came up actually 2 days ago and you had your hand raised, and I don't think we ever we ever got to call on you. If you still have the same question, or if there's anything you'd like to speak about.
Oh yeah, no, it's not a problem. I'm kind of in and out a lot of times because of my job, but I have a question. It's just a question in regards with like FedWire. Is there any utilization of the XRPL with that, or are they two completely different things? It's like I'm not really knowledgeable with it. It's just stuff I hear about. So,
Well, is there any direct integration with the XRP ledger? I mean, there's absolutely no evidence of that. But I can tell you that the FedNow service has chosen Volante Technologies to be their proprietary service they're using. And if you can go directly onto Volante's website, and if you go to their Volpay, right, which is their financial technology, right, it says directly integrated with Ripple technology on what they describe as their Volpay technology. So I would say indirectly, they're somewhat intertwined with Ripple, the company, but there's no direct correlation of usage as of least right now with the XRP ledger. And nor do I think in most cases we'd probably ever see any some sort of like direct correlation. But we'll see in the future.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all doing? My name is Yaya. I'm from Africa, smiling coast of Africa. Okay, how are you all?
Hello, yeah. Do you have a question on something regarding the topics we're talking about today?
Yes, I'm having my own topic. Yes, I wanted to tell you. I wanted to tell you, people. I don't know whether you will be interested. Sorry for the distract. Okay.
All right, sorry about that. Oh, did that answer your question, BLK? Oh, I think you went down.
The other point I'd make there is the FedWire, that's a domestic system.
sorry. Yeah, yes, it did.
Oh,
Yeah, appreciate it.
of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, the other thing is that's a domestic system, just for the US, versus like XRP Ledger / RippleNet, or the combination of the two different networks is intended to be the cross-border aspect. So the target market for the FedWire network is not the same as the target market for like RippleNet and XRP Ledger. And then just to make another point, I want to circle back again because I was reading. One of the other things is with the payment channels, there's a time expiration. So if you want to cash in your receipts and make sure you collect, like that there's a deadline that you need to go cash it in. So that gives you a finite amount of time to complete the transaction or settle the transaction, really. Anybody else got a question? And we're only going to go to 5 today. So, we got about another hour. Cool. So yeah, anybody else wants to speak up? Oh, you got your hand up. Wolf, go for it.
Thanks. I was just wondering, when the XLS-20 launches, will that also be the beginning for like using .x domains in like Zoom, or like trading on them and etc.? If anyone knows.
Could you repeat that last part?
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood.
No, as I understand, you can use a .x domain as your universal username to log into certain services and things like that. I was just wondering if that has something to do with the XLS-20 launch.
like a global ID. I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know the project you're talking about.
Talking about Zum?
Yeah, like so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so they're gonna have their own like KYCs for if you live in Europe, you'll be able to use them as an on and off ramp. I'm pretty sure starting in the Netherlands if you have the Zum Pro service, but um, I don't. What was the original question? I don't know if that answered it.
No, as I have understood, you can, when things are up and running, you can own the .x domains and trade them on. Can't you trade them like NFT, the .x domains? I was just wondering if the XLS-20 was the launch date for things like that.
Well, XLS-20 will give the XRP ledger smart contract. NFT capability. As we think of NFTs today, I don't know about any X domains. Maybe that's something specifically being built inside of Zum.
Yeah, I don't know. I ask you guys.
Yeah, that would be like a software built by like a third party service, which allows like a domain to be attached to an address, and so you could just transfer the value to the address, so it's easy. But it's getting transferred to a wallet in the end of the day. But it's just an easier way to transfer the easier way to send it, I should say.
Okay, thanks. I was just thinking that you could own the .x domain like an NFT and send it to whoever you wanted on the XRPL after a while.
I don't necessarily know if that. I mean, that's not something going on the XRP ledger right now, but I definitely know that is something that exists, like with unstoppable domains, and there are a couple different examples out there. I think where you could own domain names and transfer them representation wise in an NFT, but it's still, in the end of the day, there is like I think an entity that most likely owns those domains, and that is basically holding them for you. And you basically, I guess, hold an IOU. I guess I would think, right, in a sense, for the actual domain. But I don't know 100%. If anybody knows better.
Hey, Vet, you think you got an idea on that one?
He might be eating right now.
Oh, cool.
Thanks so much, at least, for clearing us up.
I mean, I know that once you have the XLS-20, it's just going to be like another asset on the balance or on the balance sheet on the network or the ledger. So you should be able to transfer it to everybody or anybody.
Hey guys, so to my understanding, what do you mean with the .x is, so you can do it already, all right? I mean, you said with Zum. Okay, yeah, with Zum, the thing is, the unstoppable domains you can use already, also with Zum. This is, there's support for it. I know, for example, Jebsy has it for Xrooms, so if you, I think it's xrooms.crypto or something. Like if you type this in the search field, or sorry, in the sender field, the receiver, then it pops up an XRP address that you can send it to. You know, I mean, I think this is what you mean. I mean, it's the same with the ENS domains and all this basically. There is support for the unstoppable domain stuff in Zum already. I'm pretty sure about that. But for any random payment string, basically, that you created, like you have whatever domain and you want to link this, I think there's no support for that right now that you can configure this. However, I know that the new the Zum Pro, okay, so there's Zum Pro now. You can get it, I think, for 160 or 100. It's floating depending on the XRP price. 160, 180 XRP. You can get Zum Pro, and I think there is a pay string that you can, like a personalized one that you can configure. But I think this is not something to do with domain. So, for example, what is it? Wolf of God. If this is not already taken or something, you can reserve this, and if someone just types in receiver Wolf of God, then you know it pops up an XRP address, and I can send it to you.
Yeah, like I already have that ID. I mean, PayString.
Ah, yeah, nice.
Yeah, because now the ownership lays on the Ethereum network. I was just wondering when the XLS-20 launches, if you could like.
Okay. Now I get what you mean. Yeah. Okay. This is interesting. Tokenized domains. We don't have this yet, and with XS20, certainly possible. But yeah, I've not seen any project tackling this so far. But I think there might be something in the future. I'm sure. If you knowledgeable of that, I mean, you can go ahead and do this. I think because I haven't heard about this that anyone is tackling this, but certainly a very, very good thing. Nice.
It was something that we discussed, but decided that it's probably better to just try and focus on the education part of what we're doing for now. We'll work our way up, but yeah, we've discussed that privately.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks so much, at least.
Yeah, it's certainly a very, very nice use case for it, because I know that for example the ENS domains that use, I mean, you didn't refer to this, but the unstoppable ones, yes, you're right, they are on Ethereum, or you can also get them on Polygon, but yeah, Ethereum essentially. They are basically NFTs. You're totally right. So with XS20 you can certainly do this, if you have the knowledge to this. And definitely looking forward, like if someone would do this, I think this is a nice feature, a nice use case. You can then basically trade domains and everything like it's on Ethereum right now, but way better. I like this.
Yeah, I can't wait myself. So looking forward to it.
I could totally see like an unstoppable domains migrating over, right? If the capabilities were there.
Yeah.
That would make me really happy.
And then it really becomes like so insane if you think about this, the internet of value and how all these objects are connected, because then what kind of objects are talking to each other, or we have then stable coins that say US dollar, and that you can exchange it for an NFT domain, and that one can exchange for XRP, and so you can chain all these transaction basically later on, especially with hooks. Ridiculous, like it's just not possible nowadays, right? I mean, especially not in traditional, like if you buy from whatever websites, GoDaddy or whatever, with the domains and everything, the .com stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous if you think about this, right? You can chain all these objects,
and add in like a global ID type of a aspect as well.
Oh yeah, very, very good. I mean, identification is a perfect use case for NFTs, really.
I mean, I don't know how global ID does it, but
especially because with XS20 you can set a flag that is not tradable. So it's kind of a soul. People refer to it as soul bound to the wallet. So you can, let's say, in the government would issue this NFT, basically your ID, and they say, give me your wallet or which wallet you want to use. You give them the wallet, and they mint it to your wallet, and it sticks forever to that wallet. So and you cannot trade it. So it's basically glued to the wallet, and you can identify yourself with that stuff, and it's ensured that you cannot basically trade your identity. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. The profile picture I have, for example, this is from Jebsy. He will do this, for example. He will issue this NFT later with XS20 to my wallet, and who I can identify myself. Basically, everyone who sees this or sees this NFT to a wallet knows it's from VET. It's 100% VET because I cannot trade it, anything. It's glued to my wallet.
That's actually really cool. It's almost like black holing an NFT.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's similar in the characteristics. Yeah.
Wow. See, this is why I do these things. Then I get to learn stuff.
Yeah, there are so many features actually that I'm very much excited what people are coming up with. I mean, this is basically the beauty of human intelligence, and like they come up with maybe stupid stuff, whatever, but then good ideas come out of it. And gamification is also a thing because people then get creative and they can pull out the most out of the object in that sense. Let's say XLS-20. And see what you can do with that, and in other use cases. This is why I think they said they reduced the royalties. I think it was 0.1 or 1% to 99%, and then they reduced it from essentially 0% to 50%, I think, which made me sad because I would love actually to have like the full spectrum of of the royalties that you can use, so that we can see what kind of use. I mean, if you think about 80% or 99% royalties, right, per transaction, I don't know what kind of use case would benefit from this, but maybe someone in the traditional finance or whatever.
I'm sure there's something.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty solid dissuasion. Like, oh, you want to sell it? Cool. Well, you got a 99% transaction fee. So
Yeah.
maybe you want to, like, maybe it's not worth it so much for you to sell this thing. I mean, it's in some sense, if you make it 100% fee, that's almost like, I think of the royalties a little bit like akin to quality in and out on a trust line.
Yeah.
And if you think of like what we were just talking about, what was the term you used when the NFT can't be sold?
Soul bound.
Soul bound. Okay, isn't that like sort of like 100% royalty? Like, there's no point.
Yeah.
What are you gonna sell it? Like,
With the difference that you have 100% royalty. So basically, I mean, you get you get the. I mean, I pay double basically then, so to speak. And but the issue is but the transfer is possible. Like with 100% royalty, you can transfer, and even you can do the thing with royalties in general. Like this is where I personally will be curious to see what people will do, because I don't want to see this, but I can. I kind of see that this can happen. If you do, I mean, it's obviously right. If I have an NFT that has, like, let's say 10% royalty, and I send it to, I do a trade with Death Ranger, and it's, let's say, 100 XRP, and 10% of it, right, goes to the issuer wallet as royalties. But if I say, Death, I mean, we are good friends. Let's do zero XRP. I send it to you for free, and you send me the 100 XRP separately. Then we can kind of evade the royalties, because if you do zero XRP, there's no royalties. But so I'm curious what kind of maybe shady marketplaces or whatever come up with something like this. Certainly possible. It's one of the things that I want to see. Then what's the response of the developer community?
I guess that's a good point, actually, because 99% of zero is still zero.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you have the trust thing, maybe, like I can only do this because obviously it's a more difficult thing. But yeah, I can see this, especially maybe for trades that happen maybe in physical presence. Like you are at the party or whatever. Like an event or so, and you exchange stuff with QR codes. I can see
Yeah,
this happening.
yeah. That's very, yeah, good point. And you can even have physical objects like, that. I mean, like you could pay someone with a paper wallet.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd probably want to move the money real quick so that you didn't have like a picture of the paper wallet and then like walk away from the trade and take the money out of it. But I mean, like in theory, you could just. I mean, did you see that picture I posted? It's been a little while of the credit card looking thing that the Chinese central bank did with their CBDC. It had like a little screen on it, and I think it must have been like NFC, and you could tap, right? So I tap my card to your card, and then the screen will display like, "Hey, I paid you $10."
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and it was a credit card size. I mean, it looked like it might be a little bit thick, but not that thick.
Yeah. Wolf, I've got you had your hand up. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I missed that part when you was talking about or soulbound NFTs. Was that like your ID? You said your identification.
It could be used. It could be used as an ID, because if you mint that NFT with a flag not tradable, I can essentially send you that NFT. But once it arrives at your wallet, it's basically it's glued to your wallet. You cannot do anything with it. I think you can only destroy it, and maybe there's also a flag that you can even not do that. So,
Well, it would
but
make sense that you could destroy it because you don't want these objects just stuck in the database.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes definitely sense. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is the not tradable flag, so it's kind of then stick to your wallet, and you can use it as an ID. You can use it maybe for one-time ticket or something. You have like it's a ticket for an event or so, and like for everything. I mean, you can think of maybe even for
Oh, I
whatever
could see it.
voting.
Oh yeah, makes
Voting
sense.
stuff. I don't
I
know.
could see a ticket. No, for voting, actually, I was thinking about this earlier today. For voting, you have to be able to send it, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let's say you're voting for me or death. Okay, if there's one issued vote token, you're gonna get that token. Okay, and you either send it to me or to death, right? And
Yeah,
that's how you vote.
but what is this in the US? The voter identification that you need that for to be able actually to vote. Isn't there something maybe to receive this as
It
an
depends on your state, but
yeah,
that's all like political stuff.
yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, but you gotta. I mean, you have to at least be registered to vote, right? Like, so if you have an account, you're registered. Okay.
Yeah.
The government can issue your vote. You can not send it anywhere, or you could send the vote token to person A or person B and C, whatever. You certainly would be assured there's no cheating going on. I mean, it's all a public thing, and I think actually there's going to be. I'm surprised actually because I've thought about this for a few years. There's a lot of real alignment between how governments, the spirit of how governments are supposed to be operated and accounted for, and blockchain. I mean, a government is a public good, right? It's not a private company. The books are public, at least in theory, to some degree, and how all this stuff's accounted for, I think lines up with the open source nature of blockchain. So I imagine over the next, money will go first. Once you get payments, then that's your base. Then you'll probably have like titles, identity, and all these things, and then eventually, say 2030 on, there'll be a younger breed of politicians who understand some of this stuff, and then I bet you'll see a bunch of governments start to uptake, customized blockchains for government services. I mean,
I mentioned specifically voting in that sense because, I mean, in Europe, or that's like in the Western Hemisphere, it's maybe not so much. I mean, I would gotta be careful, but not so much an issue maybe with basically voting and fraud in that sense. But if I think of, let's say, Africa, Middle East, Asia, like many countries, maybe with corrupt dictators, where then people can, basically get more clear what's going on, and if it's even like if what are they told is true or not. Certainly, you have the issue with that if you want that kind of stuff, that you have to be careful not to link it maybe to an identity. Like then they can see, okay, what Death Ranger voted for, whatever.
I was about to say you're going to have to link it to an identity. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to register to vote, right? Like when you register to vote, like you got to. It's like, hi,
Well,
my name is
voted
you
for
want to
XYZ.
obfuscate that, right? Like I don't think you want to allow anybody to know, insert my name voted, is attached to this wallet. So now I know how that guy voted, right? That's not desirable. So but that would be obfuscated through the registration process. There's where you could see you're cheating, right? Like what if I run the registration process, and I mean this is why you see some of this arguing in the States with voter ID rules. It's if I can run the registration process or at least have an influence, then I can have some influence over who actually gets registered to vote, right? Like who actually gets to vote. And so you'd want to, I think, build a system that protects against corruption in the registration process. That would be, but you're going to have to tie the ID. Like you got to prove, like I can't vote in England. Like that's not right.
Exactly. I mean, it's a good point, also in that sense, because I think we don't have this. Maybe there's no need for it or whatever, but we don't have kind of a mixer on the XRPL like you have, let's say, on Ethereum or maybe Bitcoin.
That was done several years ago.
Oh, okay. Can you talk about that, because I'm curious. Like
I don't honestly know much, but yeah, there was a couple of PhD guys from, I don't even remember what university. There's talks about it on XRP chat, but that was like, I don't know.
Mixer for the people here. Maybe you want to explain what a mixer is, if someone doesn't know.
Well, it was a way of obfuscating where the funds came from.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a slush fund.
Yeah, it's funny because what was the hack of the bridge? I don't know which bridge it was. I forgot already about it. But the recent one on ETH, I think it was like 100 million or 108 million, 150 million. I don't know, but the guy has issues with, especially in this market environment with liquidity and everything, to use any mixer effectively because it's like so much money that it's too difficult to basically do this. So I forget what the term is, but if you just sit on it, basically, so you hacked 100 million, and you're like, okay, can I do anything with it? Basically.
This is where, I mean, a lot of, yeah, that's how things, watch. That's how a lot of these things are going to unfold. Because, cool story, bro. You ended up stealing a bunch of crypto. Great.
I got out. He bought, I think, what is it? I forget the protocol, but he bought tokens from a DeFi protocol to take out loans against the hacked position ETH that he got. Kind of to try maybe to go that route. So
Wait,
if
say that?
yeah, so he got, I don't know what the amount really was exactly. 100
Well,
million
it doesn't
plus.
matter. Just go with $100. I mean,
Yeah, $100, and he bought tokens he used a DeFi protocol to take out loans against the $100. Yeah, basically just DeFi.
that's what.
Yeah.
When I talk about these stable coins, and I've said one of the key purposes they serve is actually providing fiat liquidity to these crypto assets. So take there's an old story. So let's say I'm a drug dealer, right? And I got $100. Cool. Cash. I can go into a casino, right? And I can get $100 chip, and I can go over to the roulette table, and I can bet on red or black, and then I'm going to lose 50% of my money, and then I go back and I cash out that 50%, and now it's legal casino winnings. Granted, I lost half my money, but now it's legal. I mean, real estate's like number 1, 2, and 3. Casinos are like number 4 for like laundering money. That's how I see some of these stable coins purpose. Because you watch, just smell it. I don't know, man. From the beginning and just the way people were talking about them when they first started up, and I was like, hey guys, these are margin loans. Like, be careful. Like, I've done margin calls. You don't want to get a margin call, but people didn't care. But they didn't care because they were willing to lose the 50%.
And
Egyptian. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
What's up, Egyptian? I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to say thank you to everyone who joins and comes up to speak. We wouldn't be doing these spaces if it wasn't for everybody who finds them valuable. And we host them Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. or 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. typically. We're going to cut it off at 5 today. And on Wednesdays, we host the 5 to 6 Eastern Standard Time space on a specific topic.
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Egyptian? How you doing today, man?
Good. So I'm dealing with people, oh my gosh, spreading FUD in Middle East about XRP. It's the stupidest FUD you can ever do in your life, People talk that Jed McCaleb that he has only $180 million. And they
84.
What?
84 million, I think, XRP.
Oh, 84, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's happy about it, and everybody's bullish about it in XRP community. But some Arabian YouTubers, they talk it was like, oh, the founder of XRP is selling their coin. It's like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, you have to say GM.
Yeah. People are tweeting me left and right. Oh, how can you respond to this? Oh, how can you, like, what's that? That's like a kid investing in XRP knows the answer for this. You know what I mean? Like, it's a stupid FUD. Like, it's actually a bullish thing. It's not bearish thing, But
so you were busy talking to these people about?
No, I didn't talk to them. I made a video. You know what I mean? I just made a video. I'm posting it right now, and I'm calling them underwear. So basically, it's an Egyptian term. If you call somebody underwear, it's kind of like it's a useless person. You know what I mean? It's like a useless person. So I call them. I have some underwears contacting me in Twitter. But it's just the stupid things. But anyway, you have to deal with this shit. So whatever. Guys, how what do you think about the BlockFi thing that today, $25 million? Do you believe $25 million?
I believe 25.
I find it hard to believe. Even the one of the BlockFi came out, like one of the BlockFi people came out and denied the amount, and I kind of believe him because $25 million, freaking, that's really cheap, you know.
We talked about this. I think they have 12%. They had 12% stake anyway in I think BlockFi, like FTX, and they
Okay.
gave them like 250 million loan. Right? There was a 250 million whatever, and it's funny that the 250, like, it's basically 1/10 of what the loan that they gave them, and
Then, in essence, they foreclosed on them.
yeah, kind of, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's the Egyptian. What was the valuation before all the mayhem? I think it was like 4 billion or something.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
3.4.
It's like 99% or so.
Yeah, 3.4. Now it's $25 million. You're like, what the freak? It's kind
Well,
of crazy.
there's no way to know without seeing all the cash flows what things worth. I mean,
Yeah.
the public is never going to have enough information to really actually accurately. You mean you can sort of scratch and sniff, right? But yeah, like what assets? Like, yeah, you don't know what they got.
So yesterday they said they actually lend 3AC $1 billion, like $1 billion, okay, but they took $1.3 billion worth of BTC and GBTC. It's called GBTC, whatever uh,
The Bitcoin Trust from Grayscale.
yeah, exactly. However, the 1.3, 2/3 of it was Bitcoin, and the third was Bitcoin Trust. Okay, so they were able to liquidate the Bitcoin position. They had hard time liquidating the GBTC, whatever, a trust fund, because they say it's already down 38%. So if they sold it, it will even go down more. So they couldn't actually get rid of the GBTC. But if you look at it, $1.3 billion compared to $1 billion, they should have enough to cover. However, so I think when they take the collateral, the value was 1.3. Right now, I don't know like they didn't say how much is the value of this collateral right now. Because now the collateral could be valued as what? Maybe 800, 700 $1 million, because the value of BTC went down, whatever the GBTC trust went down. They didn't say how much is the collateral worth now, so that's maybe where the trouble comes from. Yeah.
I think we will never, I think, see something like this maybe in our lifetime, in the sense of like this unregulated thing and everyone, like all these loans, and you can do basically, it's just Wild West, in essence. It's, I think, if you would look out for this in the traditional market, I think you have to be alive in like before the 1930s or something, like before, it reminds me of that time. So I mean, it's ridiculous. We have to think about like so much cross collateralization, and you don't know what's worth, and you collateralize like high volatile as like what what is this? So,
I'm gonna say it again, okay? I'm so happy that Bombiliano is gonna lose money in this. I'm really.
he was BlockFi, or he's BlockFi, right?
Okay, so he has a video, and I posted it on my Twitter. He had a video from 2021, I think March 2021, okay, where he, at the time, he invested. So he came out in Twitter and he say, oh, that's my biggest investment ever. You know what I mean? And he was making ads for, like, basically the whole post, the whole video is that he was telling people that that's his biggest investment, and he's telling why he thinks that's the best investment he ever made. Okay, so I posted the video today. It's about him saying all of this. So he's gonna lose a lot of money out of it, unless maybe he sold, some of his position before it went down. Who knows, But he's kind of quiet. But I don't think he sold because he was trying to find another funding. Like 4 days ago, he was trying to find $250 million to kind of like to counter Sam Blankman offer. So most likely, if he was trying to find money, most likely he was losing money in it, you know. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Did Wolf or 808? Did one of you guys have your hand up?
I was just laughing about Egyptian story there.
Because
okay.
I have feeling all XRP community feels the same way about you know about Bombiliano, you know, and it's not actually, it's not just the XRP community. Like a lot of people are making fun of him. Yeah.
Well, sometimes he's
arrogant.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Right. I know.
I was gonna say pompous.
Okay. Yeah, there are other terms, but we're not gonna say it because
but he does make some good points sometimes, and you know he's working hard, and this stuff's actually a little more difficult than, I mean, I guess you know Egyptian, but like there's more to it than you would think, than I ever thought. And yeah, I mean, he's working hard. He's cranking out videos. He does have some good content. I don't agree with everything he says. I think some of the stuff he says is not exactly the way I would perceive something, but people are allowed to have different opinions and different perspectives. Nothing wrong with that.
it's like I have critique, but I don't want to repeat it about him. You know what I mean? But he's smart. I'm gonna tell you that he's smart. Okay, but I do not like smart people when they use their intelligence and actually manipulate people. Another example is Elon Musk. You know, and I don't know where Elon Musk went. I think he got abducted by aliens. He disappeared from Twitter. You know, I don't know what's going on.
He realized he has also a main job, not only on Twitter.
Like what's going on? Where did he go? It's kind of weird.
I mean, bear market is not fun. He was like, Twitter is not fun anymore right now. Let's come back.
Well, if they're in the middle of negotiations, there's probably a reason why he's not on Twitter right now. You know what I mean? Like if that's still going on, if there's some sort of contingency in the agreement that says like, hey, you'll suspend your Twitter, usage until the deal's done or something. That's my guess.
That would be reasonable.
But I think he would be allowed to talk about other stuff. Like I think unless the lawyer told him, "Hey, listen, okay, you can."
Nothing he wants to talk about. He's just a troll.
Yeah, he's a troll. Yeah. Like, hey, there is no doubt he's freaking super smart. Like, I have no doubt. Okay, but I think he uses intelligence in manipulating people, which is okay. Like, that's how you become a brilliant businessman. You know. But just keep it in business. Do not manipulate like simple people, you know. That's what it is. Like, hey, if you work with banks, if you work with competition, hey, good for you. Manipulate people as much as you want, because basically it's a shark against shark, you know. And you try to win you try to beat your competition, but just don't do it to simple people, you know. That's my issue with him.
This is why. So when I did the executive consulting sales, I was going after CFOs. If you weren't the CFO, I didn't even need to know your name. Don't care. But then when I switched to like the insurance business, it's like, dude, you're selling to grandmas. Okay, it's not like I didn't remember the aggressive tactics we took with the CFOs, but these CFOs have people to cover their tracks and make it hard to find them. They have admins, like that's the nature of that, versus like, dude, a grandma doesn't have an admin. You can't use those same tactics. It's just not right, in my opinion. And yeah,
I swear to you guys, like these people that people think they are smart, they make like an amateur mistakes, like even, you know, like, they do the same mistake, you know, like the guys who join crypto and they come do mistakes, they do the same exact mistakes. There is no big difference. You know, like for example, 3AC, they lost their investment in Terra Luna. So in order to try to actually make up for losses, they did something called revenge trading, and I'm pretty sure everybody knows about it now. Like basically, hey, like you know, when I'm a newbie investor and I lost my money, now I want to bet even more to try to make up my losses. That's a newbie. Basically, it's a newbie mistake. And basically, the 3AC, they did the freaking same newbie mistake. I said freaking, not, I didn't say any bad word, karma, okay? So, so they did the same newbie mistake. They tried to actually make up for losses. And then they lost even more, okay? You will find them like BlackFi doing the same thing, Celsius doing the same thing. They actually, they running after a yield without actually knowing that okay, there is risk here. Like if they investing in the STETH, okay, you know that the STETH is gonna be locked until the Ethereum 2.0 is done. Why would you do it? Okay, because nobody actually thought we're gonna get in bear market, and that's the problem. You know, nobody imagined bear market is coming. People is gonna withdraw their money, and people want their money. Now your money is locked.
This is why that's a liquidity risk. So they took the people who locked their money, right? What they're effectively doing is they're saying, "Hey, I want to get a return." Cool. And then you always have to ask, well, what's the risk? If there's quote unquote no risk, run the other direction. But the risk is a liquidity risk, right? The market crashes and you're stuck. You're locked.
Yep. But karma will okay. Let me ask you something. Let's say will bank actually do this mistake? I'm very sure there are banks that they are dumb, but banks are regulated, you know. So basically, if banks, like, it's really hard for, not really hard, I know banks fall for the same mistake, but for example, like big banks, will they fall for the same mistake? You know,
well, look at USDC, right?
Yeah.
What do they have? I'm just going to make up a simple example. Let's just assume all of the asset side of the balance sheet is 3-month treasuries. Okay, but they're enabling real-time liquidity on the, well, not really real-time because it goes through, well, no, it's on Stellar. So yeah, real-time liquidity. So they're providing short-term liquidity, but they've got long-term assets. So they should be making an interest rate spread, unless you have an inverted yield curve. And so, you know, if you had everybody come in and say, try and redeem their USDC, then basically they would have to go turn around to the bond markets and sell off all the USDC. Okay, that's probably going to lower the price, and maybe they break dollar peg, right? I mean, that could happen. But yeah, I mean, they're USDC. These stable coins. The more and more I think about them, especially like a USDC type, the more I'm starting to think about them as just very much like a bank.
Yes, but basically, if like what I'm saying is, like these people actually acting with people, like they take people money and they put in a freaking risky investment, and they do like all their mistake is basically is like somebody just enter crypto and they do these mistakes over and over and over, you know. And even and I'm gonna repeat this again. Okay, if you are a public company and you do mining, okay, like I'm really wondering right now, public companies who are doing mining, how they think about mining right now. Do they think they made a mistake or no?
Well, I want to know how they're accounting for this stuff through GAAP principles. And I've seen only one article that addressed that, and it didn't like link.
Oh, was it Compass Mining's was it their CEO and CTO or their CFO both resigned on the same day?
Yeah, they resigned yesterday. I think they resigned. They couldn't even pay the rent. Not the rent, the energy bill. So they lost one of their warehouses because they couldn't pay the energy bill for it. Okay. You find a company like Marathon, it's called Marathon something. Okay. Their projection is to actually mine Bitcoin by the end of 2022. Six what? It's not terahash. It's the amount that bigger than Terra. What is the amount that after Terra? Like it's something with X. I cannot remember it. Okay, but they have a projection that okay, we're gonna mine crypto like let's say 6 terahash. It's not six. It's 1,000 times the Terra. Okay, so 6 terahash. Okay, that's the projection. I'm just giving an example. Okay, right now they are only at 0.6. So they will never get to 6 terahash. They are going to stay at 0.6 because basically they don't have money. They don't have anything. They have a lot of loans because they bought the equipment. So their stock price are going down the drain. They cannot get any funding. So what I'm saying is like these companies that they listed in the stock market for mining, like how they look at mining right now. Do they think it's still like a sustainable business as a model business? Because if I were them, I was like, we just want to make our money, we want to cover our cost and get out of this, And if people watching what's happening to them, why would people want to, create company to actually mine? Because sooner or later it's going to happen to you. Like basically what's happening to them right now, sooner or later is going to happen to them. But anyway, bull market is going to come. Everybody's going to forget what happened, and it's going to happen again and again and again.
Till we get some regulation in the space.
Exactly, and I think it's a close.
I think so too. Yeah, I think we're getting close to that inflection point where it has to be.
Yeah, Wolf, go for it.
Yeah, since we are talking about sidechains today, is there anyone that have like a good idea or thought about why they would set up their own sidechain?
I mean, before sidechain was a word, I figured karma coverage would be a sidechain. But the reason was to make sure that that the service didn't create like a lot of ledger bloat, because you're going to have like a ton of really small transactions, and then really you can sum them up and then just only hit the XRP ledger, for like settlement purposes, basically. The XRP ledger doesn't need to have all the little transactions that make up a karma coverage request. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I mean, that was more out of respect for the ledger itself, right? Like you don't want to dump your entire project's transaction load on the main net. It's kind of a dick move.
I don't know. I'm looking into it myself, so I'm just wondering what you guys have to say about it.
The trouble's going to be, how do you get your UNL distributed enough that it's not like just you running a side service. And if it is just you running a side service, fine. Right? Like karma coverage doesn't need to be decentralized. It can be, but it doesn't need to be. I mean, the main thing is the UX, right? And the financial model. But you could certainly run karma coverage as a standalone, you know, XRPL node or Ripple D, whatever you want to call it.
I think somebody's knocking Egyptian. I think he realized he was unmuted.
I think there's definitely going to be other services. I mean, look at Sologenic, and I know they caught a bunch of flack, right? But if they can make a side chain that can do like a higher transaction throughput, and they can, you know, clear, you know, effectively on the side chain, you do your clearing, and then settle up on the main net, like, great. Okay, this is horizontal scaling. This makes the Internet of Value, you know, infinitely like bigger. It's a sidechains are a big deal. I don't know of all the. I'm sure there will be more and more use cases that various entrepreneurs and innovators think up, but yeah, it's a real. It enables the horizontal scaling and customization. You know, like let's say you want to spin up a ledger with hooks, right? So you can run a bunch of business logic that require hooks on, say, a side chain, and then you can connect and bridge that back over to mainnet for settlement. Okay, now you don't even have to. Now you've sped up the pace of innovation because you don't have to wait for a hooks amendment to be approved on mainnet, right? You can just go ahead and get going. And if you've got a real deal use case, then you should have customers and activity and whatever, and you just, you know, connect back over to the mainnet for settlement. Like, so it's a sidechains are a big deal, my opinion, anyhow.
Yeah, I know this, but still learning and checking out how things works that way. But
Yeah.
Thanks for clearing that up so much.
Of course. What's the use case?
I mean,
what is it that you're trying to do that that you would like to build a sidechain for? And everybody, I just want to let everybody know we're coming up in that 10-minute mark. Probably close the space out in a couple minutes. So just in case anybody wants to come up or have any questions they'd like to ask, please feel free to hit the request.
What time do you start the space?
Today we started at 3:30.
Oh, is it 1 hour or 2 hours?
For on Thursdays and Mondays, we keep it for about an hour and a half, just because I have something I have to do at 5 o'clock.
No problem. No. Did you hear the knock on my door? It was a mining company sending somebody to kill me, but I took care of them. Yeah.
They don't have enough money to afford that right now. Energy bills are too high.
Yeah, I have certain set of skills, you know. I don't know the whole code, but yeah.
Yeah, just for everybody, like, we do appreciate you guys joining and participating and asking questions. So, you know, if you'd like to support us continuing these efforts with, we have some crypto addresses for now. We'll get other methods later. Pinned up to the top of the profile. So I'd appreciate any contributions. It's all going to sit there until we get bank accounts and all the legal stuff done, but still, it's a little encouraging. And yeah, jump up here and ask a question before the chat's over. It's kind of what we're here for.
Hey, I was gonna ask something real quick. Sorry, go ahead, Egyptian.
No, you go. I talked a lot, so you go.
So I was gonna ask, what do you guys? Obviously this is like impossible to predict, but looking at 3AC and Celsius and just the stuff that's going on already in the bear market, clearly people were trading very, very leveraged. I would assume that there's going to be a ton more of this stuff, especially if we get like a big wick down, just under certain points. There's got to be more people or platforms that have been trading just highly leveraged, and there's probably some that are just holding on by their pinkies right now, and it's just obviously there's not a lot of support until you get down to 14 or 12 or even 10K, and then there's support levels again. So like with this market, I'm interested. I've been sitting on the side, I've been buying a little bit here and there, but I've been waiting and waiting and waiting. But it is fascinating to me to see these larger institutions and these big names when they get caught with their pants down, and I'm just wondering how it could play out next, because I've seen it happen in real estate before. I just haven't, obviously this crypto, it's we haven't been through a recession before, so.
Yeah, we have. But not this.
I meant we've been through bear markets, but not through a macro recession. You know what I mean? Like an actual.
Well, yes.
2020 wasn't a real one.
I just made that point. I don't even think it was on this chat. I think it was in a different conversation. But yeah, crypto has not seen a bear market, like a crypto bear market, in conjunction with non-bull market in the macro environment. That's not happened before. And some of these tools for creating leverage did not exist when we had previous, in the 17, 18, whatever, bull run and crash, whatever. These leverage creation tools were not as prevalent. So both of those market characteristics I see as accurate. You can make your own 2 cents what you think about their presence, but those characteristics are there. I mean, your comment is good. You're seeing it.
Yeah, I just remember, at least with the 08 crash, it was nobody thought Lehman Brothers or Bear Stearns were going to be suffering the way that they were. Lehman going out of business, and people didn't realize, even in 2005 with Enron, obviously that was a Ponzi scheme, but Arthur Andersen tied into all the the bullshit. Excuse my language, sorry. So it's going to be really interesting to see who's been playing too much with leverage and get and they're probably reputable institutions, but just it's going to be a very interesting book to be watching in real time. You know what I mean? Or movie to be watching in real time.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm fascinated. Look at if you want to find leverage, look at your loans and derivatives. Loans are obviously a derivative, right? If I'm borrowing against, say, a house, the house is the asset, the loan's a derivative of the asset. You can look at your your futures, forwards, options. The crazy thing to me is all these things trade on centralized exchanges. I haven't seen anybody yet figure out how to do options on Ledger in a decentralized fashion. So to me, that negates the whole key concept of decentralized ledger. If you're going to trade it through a centralized platform, then okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, watch those markets, participants, and there's your danger warning. Like there's your narrow the list of people who might get screwed by leverage by looking at the people who use leverage.
Any last minute questions or anything anybody would like to come up and throw on topic?
When moon.
I had a feeling you were going to say that for some reason.
When moon is when we have a real industry going.
We did have a full moon.
Have regulations though.
One question I was going to ask is something I read today was Coinbase is out here selling now people's information. Is that true?
Yes, to the immigration. The ICE, yeah, they selling the information to ICE. Hey, it's tough times. They need money, so that won't surprise me.
I would say this: if you think you ever sign up anywhere for any email address, any credit card, you put your information anywhere, always read the fine print because they're almost always selling your information.
Yep,
that's just the world that we live in, and this is karma. Always brings up that, I forgot the term now. Crap.
Like sovereign identification or what?
No, identity, dignity. Crap. I'm forgetting the two words.
Oh yeah. No, that's it. That's from
data dignity.
Jerome Lear. Data dignity. Yeah.
I just call it customer mining.
I'm tired. But I think that's something that we're going to have in the future is that data dignity is going to be very important, and privacy of data and being able to be paid for your data, for sure.
Well, and having control of your data. I mean, this is reasonable, right? I mean, I have, like, seriously, I mean, it's not like I live in a draconian freaking environment. You know, the cops cannot just come into my house and just go through all my stuff and my computer and no, right? Like I have some amount of privacy, but in the data world, it's just you can't even avoid having I mean, you basically just are required to allow yourself to be taken advantage of, in my opinion.
Yep.
And most people don't even know they're being taken advantage of. They think they're getting this cool space service for free. Okay, I guarantee you Twitter's recording this because I know they're doing translation or transcription.
Yeah. Oh, they 100% are. And now if you look on the Twitter spaces that it posts to everybody, that you could, after the space is over, still record, yes, which means they've always been recorded the whole time then. Mm-hmm. Just want to say thank you to everybody for coming and to everybody who watches these in the future. Please don't forget, if you could, to follow us at ledgerscale on Twitter and to turn notifications on so you know that when we're going live. And if you could as well, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and just to say again, we do appreciate everybody joining, participation, questions. If you'd like to support us continuing these efforts, just we have the crypto addresses for now. That's the only option available, but they're for various networks, and we'll see you tomorrow.